Well, hey there, Venice Church. Hope you're having a great day. I know that I am. I'm getting ready to just go home in a little bit after work and enjoy the rest of my day. And I pray that you're having a blessed time just as much as me enjoying our Envision series right now as Pastor Nathan leads us to. I so enjoyed this message about the vision and the process. You can see sometimes we measure ourselves to where we're not, forgetting to realize that also we're not where we used to be. And this is going to be a constant battle. I know for me, a testimony in a time that I've had where I was consistently doing a comparison game with other people is when I was going through a recovery process of something personal in my life, and that I would always look to other people and saying, I'm not where they are. And so that means I'm not really changed. Or whenever I would fall, I would say, you see, I haven't really changed. But it took my community, it took my church, it took my friends to come alongside me to say, hey, we all fall, we all stumble, we all get in predicaments that we don't choose to, and some of them when we make unwise decisions. But in that, we are to carry each other's burdens. I like this verse in Philippians, and it talks about this. It says, I thank God every time I remember you. In all my prayers for all of you, I will always pray with joy because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry out onto completion until the day of Christ Jesus. And that's amazing. He who began a good work in you is surely to finish that. You see, this process of becoming a Christ follower, this process of sanctification, this process of overcoming a struggle, overcoming a sin, overcoming temptation, overcoming whatever that may be, a family crisis, a family related thing that has been chained to you and passed on to you, does not have to be your present future. It does not have to be what your children are going to go into. I think about this building. If you can see behind me, it's a T-Mobile that we're designing. And if you would have saw this building when I first came in, the place looked horrible. The ceiling was messed up. The floors were bad. The walls were disgusting. Some of them had mold. There was so many things. But you know what? It takes little by little to start the process of restoration. The first thing that we have to do when we come into a building like this is demo. Is get rid of all the things that have been there in the past. And assess what is salvageable and what is not. What is something I can hold on to and what is not. And the same way, what are those things in your life that you have to demo? What are those things in your life you have to remove in order to see the new thing? And let me tell you something. This is not something you do immediately, one day, and change it all. This is a process. This is something that you walk into with the Lord. You see, we may start with the front of the building, leading all the way to the back. We may start with the ceiling, or we may start with the floors. We may start with the walls, or we may start with all the foundations. But the reality is we have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. Just because you fall, just because you gave into that, it does not define you. You are not your struggle. You are not your sin. The Lord is going to do a good work to do that. I love what Jay says in the worship set. You hold no records of wrong. That we can look at Christ and say, he really forgets that thing. But it's the enemy that brings that back up. It's the enemy that reminds us how much we've sinned, how much we've fallen, and how many times we've fallen. And then we start to remind ourselves and beat ourselves. You know what? I haven't changed. I'm still that person. I'm still dealing with anger. I'm still dealing with financial selfishness. I'm still dealing with unforgiveness in my heart. But just be reminded that the Lord holds no record of wrong. So next time the enemy reminds you of that, read the Word. Be in the Word with him. What does God have to say about this? What does he have to say about your present situation? What does he have to say about your future if you are to envision something new for your life? If you are to see yourself in a new place, you have to be able to see things from a new, different way. Remember those shades that Pastor Nathan had? Is that sometimes we're not just blinded by the world, but we're blinded by the enemy. Because he will speak some things in our lives that we'll see as truth. You have to remind yourself that God is the one that speaks truth over your life. He is the one that has power over your life. He is the one that allows you to grow and to change into those things. I really hope you have a blessed day, and I really hope you take into account No matter how many times you've fallen, no matter how many times you have given into that, today you can choose freedom. Today you can choose to put that thing aside. You can say, this thing has no more power over me. But every word that comes from the mouth of God is what I will rely on. I hope that you are blessed. I hope that you feel at home here at Venice Church. I hope that you feel welcome. I hope that you find someone to walk with you. All it takes is one person. You don't need the whole world. All it takes is you, a sense of community, and the Lord. Have a blessed day and have a great week.